as you know that we released version 7.0 in the first week of Feb, and that was our promise that we will be talking more about what are the features and how we are able to build it. See, one important thing is we have been able to deploy this into a couple of very large uh, contracts with the petabyte scale data, and we have seen how this platform works and able to perform. So we'll talk about it. Let's see the webinar flow and how it will be done. So we have muted, please mute yourself, or when you will join, it will be muted. And if you have any questions, comments, any feedback, you can keep on putting into the chat. And after 45 minutes, we will be able to answer your questions. And if time permits, we will open it for general Q&A as well. And post this event also, you can have further questions, suggestions, and topics for the next set of webinars. And yeah. So how we will like the flow is, I'll just give a very brief introduction, and then after that, Mani Ratnam Velu, who is our solution architect and has been with the ecosystem from day one, he will be talking about the use case description, and then the product flow will be there as we have shown here. So we'll not spend much time on that. So first of all, I would like to thank my partners and some of the customers who are there in the call and who are going to see this webinar, because this will be available to them as a video. With your help, directly or indirectly, BDB platform is now serving 10 Fortune 500 customers. So we have reached to 10 Fortune 500 customers in some form or the other. And there are many more customers in 10 different verticals we are coming up with. So how we have done in last 2 years, we have focused quite a lot on the data side. And we are defining now BDB is a low-code hyper-automation data analytics platform that is accelerating the data ops and the AI ops for enterprises on course to the digitization and data monetization. So I have explained, so most of you anyway understand all these type of terminologies, but in the box, there is a data pipeline, data governance, data catalog, data quality, data as a service API, data science, and the similar visualization box with governed dashboard, self-service reports, and mobility. And we will cover this in a little bit more details. And what we have seen in last 1.5 years when we have done the implementations in the connected car space, in the telecom space, that we are able to achieve the type of speed that we need to achieve to create these type of data monetization platforms. And you know that, and you know better than me in terms of, as you are discussing with the, let's say, Fortune 3000 customers, most of them would have implemented some platform or the other, and then would have gone for basic data analytics, basic big data flow and all that. But still they have not captured or utilized their entire data that they're generating from their IoT devices and a lot of other devices. A lot of data that they are generating, which they want to give it to their ecosystem in terms of the consumers, partners, vendors, and to the last mile users, which you can now give it as a data as a service API. So most of the companies are still at the 30 to 80% stage, even in terms of the data monetization. I'm saying this because we have done it for the top brand of the world. So they have not reached to that stage, and this is the time now that we can push this platform. And how does this pictorially being looked at now? So if you look at the lowest layer, we are talking about the data adapters. So we do not have very large repository of data adapters, but it is quite good enough in terms of doing the implementation on multiple enterprise scale customers. And as we are getting more and more customers into the different type of segments, if you talk about oil and gas, and if you talk about finance and other things, so more and more data adapters is being written. And now the main layer that takes care of the data ingestion through the best orchestration, deployment, monitoring, scheduling, and version control is the data pipeline. Data pipeline, it already has 70% of the shelf component, but this is the low code platform where even the partners and customers can write their own components on top of it. And with the security, compliance, consent management, with the GDPR, data loss protection, optimizations, all of this can be done through this platform. And what we have done is we have added AI ML lab also for the data science group so that you can experiment with your data models and publish and get your models in production here itself. The UI layers out of the box remain the same, but as we have given a data cataloging feature as well as data as an API, it becomes possible now to even expose some of the data to the UI integration level of other type of UIs. So for example, if some customers say that, okay, I have a very specific product and I want the UI in this format itself, now that is possible through the BDB platform. GraphQL, we are working on it. So it is at the alpha stage, but we have just shown it that this is how the whole platform will look like. This is an important slide just to show you in comparison. Like what was the platform by 2020? It was anyway end-to-end data analytics platform. It had all the features which was required to do the implementation in enterprise segment. But in 2 years, or what we are going to add by the end of this year, it's not only the platform which was there, which had a lot of lead, but we have now added the BDB notebook, which is the data science lab. The pipeline is very advanced. Believe me, it is a hyper automation pipeline. Then data as an API catalog, I've talked about. Data sandbox, we have coded, which was required for the notebook. And we will be doing the platform core library updates, GraphQL and AutoML this year itself. So this slide shows that, anybody, any partner who have come with us and doing investment, jointly building these solutions or trying to bring customers, this is our commitment that we will keep on writing the next set of features and we'll keep the competition at the top end level. This is just a platform roadmap. I will not go into the details so that you can just look at it in the details later. Because as we keep on going and making the platform better, we need to keep on upgrading in terms of the Kubernetes and Pythons and Java versions as well, which is very, very important, so that none of our existing customers get stuck anywhere. Now what we have done is we have just used this 7.0 platform and then created a small workflow. So this is more just to show the capability of the platform in very less time and with very minimal people. And Mani, who is our solution architect, will be demonstrating this use case. Over to you, Mani.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Amin, for the quick intro about this 7.0 platform. And thanks for this opportunity to explain what are the new features we are having in the 7.0 platform with a small use case here. So I'm just going to this manufacturing industry, like what kind of problem statement has been we have taken and how it has been implemented using the platform. So we just consider an oil and gas company which is trying to move towards the industry 4.0 standards, and they wanted to make their management and monitoring of the devices or the sensors digitized. So what are the next steps they want to do is they are planning to do is they wanted to capture the data from the sensors which is connected internally, and they wanted to create a monitoring system on top of it, and how the real-time monitoring is possible, and how you will be able to send the alerts when some of the sensors is breaching the data, how it is possible to send alerts, and how it can create a tickets. Like for example, if a customer is having a ticket management system, how the pipeline will be able to create the tickets in their ticket management system based on the sensors and who is responsible for the sensors. And then they were looking for dashboards which we will be able to show, like how the data will be disseminated there and how the alerts will be shown there. And next is of, as Avin said, there is a new feature which has been released as data as an API, where you will be able to integrate the data which is being processed inside the platform, where you can integrate with any other UI system outside the platform, as well as any other enterprise apps which is already available with the customers. So let me go to the implementation architecture, like what we have done on this architecture. So here we have what we had as a point is like where the factory is generating around 20 to 30 real-time values. Like for example, a factory is having consider a factory is having around 75 sensors out of the factory, and each sensor is producing 20 to 30 sensor values for each minute. So we need to process that, and we need to make sure like each sensor is it's working, or each system is working fine, and then the sensors, whether it is violating the thresholds or not. So we need to check what's happening in it. So out of the box component, which is inside the data pipeline, inside the data platform, which is a data pipeline, we have this ingestion components inside our data pipeline, so which can be used to receive the data from the factory IoTs. So once the data has been received in this IoT ingestion components, the next step is to make sure whether any alert is happening on it, or any threshold breach is happening. And parallelly, we need to monitor whether anomaly, we need to check for the anomaly detection in the values what we are getting from each sensor. So we have built a rule engine inside our pipeline, which helps to check like, okay, for the whatever the values coming in, whether it is violating the, whether it is breaching the thresholds, or whether it sustains for some interval and it has to be escalated, or it has to be alerted to the customers or the unit engineers or the plant managers, how it has to be notified, that process has been handled. So now, once we get this data into this IoT listener, we are processing it parallelly on a rule engine. The rule engine checks whether it is whether it's a threshold breach or normal value. If it is a normal one, it produces the data and goes to this dashboard. And if it is alert, then alert notification has to be sent in the live incident tracker dashboard. And the same time, a ticket has to be created in the ticket management system. For this use case, I have taken as a Jira as a ticket management system. So whenever an alert is coming in, a ticket will be generated in the ticket management system. And the use case is like, I wanted to manage the tickets from my data destination layer also. Like from the dashboards, if I wanted to write back or change the status or change the assignee from the dashboards, I should be able to do it. So now this IoT listener sends the data here. So we are storing the raw zone. And once the DS lab, the new feature which is available for us, once the DS lab process the data, so we'll be storing it in the analytical zone, and the alert information, we are storing it in the alert data. For this use case, what are the modules in the BDB we have used is the data pipeline, DS lab module, which is newly introduced, and the dashboard designers with write back feature along with the pipeline module, and data as an API, which we can integrate with any external UIs and applications. On top of this, we are having a data catalog, which helps, which I'll give a more detail about the data catalog towards the end of the session. So let me go to the pipeline structure, how it has been done. So we just consider like this is a pipeline structure. Let me go to the pipeline module and show you that. I'm just moving to this pipeline. So most of you might be knowing how this each models is, and the Zoom bar is having some issues with. Okay, so now these are the pipelines which we have created here. So this machine sensor alert pipeline is the one what we have used to check for this use case. Let me view it. So from here, we are getting the data. So we get the data from here, and this is based on this implementation approach, what I have shown you. So we are passing the data to the rule engine. Parallel, we are storing the data into the raw data, and parallel, we are moving the data to the DS lab model runner also. So if you could, most of you might be aware what's there, what are the components available inside the pipeline, how you can connect to any kind of ingestion system or readers and writer. Now we have introduced this inside the ML segment. You'll be able to see one new component, which is a DS lab model runner. So this helps us to run the model which is being published from the DS lab. So that's an interesting part for the data scientist team. Let me take it in next, maybe in a few minutes. So we are sending the data parallelly to DS lab model runner, rule engine, and the raw data. We are storing it in the MongoDB. So for this use case, we have taken it as MongoDB because like the recent version of MongoDB supports this time series storage. So it will be very optimized way of processing the data. So we are going with MongoDB here. Now this rule engine checks whether the data which comes in, whether it is whether this is breaching the thresholds or not. If it is breaching the threshold, here you could see there is a alerts which, so we'll be getting this notification whether it is alert or not. It will get a no or yes, this is being configured from this, and this is a rule splitter, and the rule splitter helps to make sure, okay, whether it is alert or not. If it is a normal, then it just process and sends the data to the dashboard. And if it is alert, here once we know that whatever the value comes in, it persisted for 10 minutes or a minute, and then we need to send an alert to the system. So we have configured parallel processing here for this. From this alert, if it is an alert, then send the data to a WebSocket. WebSocket will be sending the data to the dashboard, which is an alert notification, and parallelly we are sending this to the email also. So for example, it has to be informed to the plant manager or the unit engineer who is responsible for that machine or the sensor. He'll be notified from the email, and the same time there will be Jira ticket also created for him under his login. So for his user account, there'll be a Jira ticket will be assigned for it. So it is kind of like whomever is responsible for that sensor or for that machine, for them that Jira ticket will be created and get assigned, and we are storing the data in a MongoDB, the alert information. So this would help the data science team in the next part, like how they will be able to use this for the next kind of analysis on top of it, and what kind of predictive maintenance can be suggested. All these things can be done from this alert data what we are storing. So let me take a minute here. So let me take a minute and explain. This is a new feature of DS Lab, what I was saying. So what is DS Lab, and how we are able to integrate that with the pipeline. So let me go to what is DS Lab. So DS Lab is an interesting feature for the data scientist. So in case if a data scientist wanted to collaboratively work with other data scientists and prepare a model which can be utilized on a real-time basis, how he can do it first. And the second thing is, if you wanted to, there might be some restriction that enterprise data cannot be moved out of the system. So in that case, the DS Lab which is available inside the platform will help, like you doesn't need to create an external connector outside the BDB platform. Whatever the connectors and data sets inside the BDB platform will help you to connect to that DS Lab where you can run your model and get the things done. So these are the new future. These are the options available for available in the DS Lab. So here you'll be able to create the TensorFlow and PyTorch workflows. And here as you know, that the CPUs and memories has to be configured for each models. You'll be able to configure it, and you can publish this as a model for the pipeline. You can save this as a model, save this model also, and it supports the external libraries. You can install the external libraries here, and it's easy to collaborate. Like once it's a click away, so that you'll be able to see this model inside the pipeline. So let me go back again to the platform to showcase what's there. So we have introduced this DS Lab. Here you could see a new icon here. So let me go to this. So once you load this, you will be seeing the projects which has been created for multiple implementations. So for this anomaly detection, I'll log in. I'll just move to this anomaly detection. These are all the notebooks which is created by my data scientist for this particular use case. Let me go inside this particular notebook. Yeah, so once that, so here it's kind of like, this might be it is a user interface where the data scientists can write their scripts, write their algorithms, do this EDA, and get some output from it, and they will be able to decide which model has to be which model is optimized. For example, in this model, my data scientist used logistic regression and random forest classifier. So he decides which one we need to use for this, and then he prepares this, and then he'll be able to save this model, and he can save this artifacts of it. So whatever the artifacts has been found from this, whatever the EDA he have done, he'll be able to save it and save the model. So once he saved the model, he'll be able to get this, the model will be saved here. The model is saved, and then whatever the model saved here will be listing under this models. Here you can just go here. Let me go to the all. So these are the models he have saved, and this model particular one, which is in a different color, is being published for the pipeline. So the same way, this is a pickle file which is being created from the model. Okay, so this same way I can just go and click on publish. This is a click away. So this publish gives this model into this pipeline. So if you go here, this DS lab meta information, you will be know, okay, this is a model name which has to be there, which is this is the project name, and this is the model name. So once what are the models he's been publishing, it will be listing the models here, which can be utilized in the real time by the pipeline. So this covers what the complete use case, what we have done, and what's the data processing happened on this. So now, as we know, like most of us have a hands-on on the pipeline. There is a future which most of us might not be using it, is a monitoring of the pipeline. So we know this a pipeline, the components, what are the components we are having it, and what is the memory is being used by the each component, what is the CPU required for it, how much number of records we are processing in it. So using this monitoring, you will be able to get it. And here you can just see how much is allocated, what is allocated memory for this in your configurations in each component. And you'll be able to see, okay, for this complete day, I'm having this much of memory utilized and this much of CPU is being utilized. So you can just go on you can just go and change your configurations to optimize the process. So this monitoring helps us to do the same. And we'll be able to integrate this with Prometheus or Datadog, where external logging can also be possible. So let me move to the next part of our this one. So as a part of this complete use case, what is the next step? Like we have collected the data, we have generated the alert, we know like what kind of data can be analyzed. But so the manager of a manager has to need to have a different kind of role access, and the unit engineer should be having a different kind of access. There should be a role-based access integrated inside the platform itself, so that a person logs in, the same dashboard will be viewed in a different two ways for a user. So let me go to this dashboards. So right now I'm in a manager account. So let me go to this manager dashboard. So this manager dashboard helps to monitor the alerts as well. So what we're seeing in the right top corner, hopefully you are able to see this red dot here, where this is a sensor, where for this sensor, which is there here, we are getting an alert. So this will be shown here, like on this particular time, there is an alert for the sensor. This can be like visually the manager will be able to monitor, and he'll at the same time, there will be tickets created for it also. So this incident action, what's happening is the pipeline goes and creates a ticket inside the Jira. So there are total 126 tickets there, and this many is in progress, this many is in closed, some of the things are not assigned. And who are the people working on like assigned with each sensor based issues. So I'll be able to know from here, and what's the percentage of status based on the tickets. Now these are all the normal analytics or whatever you want to do on top of the data what you have. But the next future, what I'm going to show is the write back from the dashboards. So here is the Jira list, which has been using our Jira API connector. We have brought this into the dashboard designer. So I'm having an edit option. What this edit option does is I'm able to, like as a manager, I wanted to make it as in progress, and I wanted to make this one, assign this one to somebody else other than who's the assignee. So for example, Tejadinesh is the current assignee. I'm moving to Harsha. I'm just commenting it. This ticket should be checked by Harsha. So I'll just click on apply. So what happens here? So this is getting updated into the Jira management system also. So for example, let me go to what I have changed to in progress is 5968. Let me go to the Jira system. Okay. 5967. Whether my comments and the status change is coming here. Yeah, this ticket should be checked by Harsha, which is updated 24 seconds ago. And I have changed this assignee to Harsha. So now this is a plan manager does this. Now I need to log in as a unit engineer to see what's happening in my whatever the machines allocated for me. This role-based access has been provided for him same. So let me log in as a Teja here. Let me log in as, log into this space. So as you know, this is a multi-tenant, we will be able to do it. So unit engineer, so the same dashboard has been published as a unit engineer. You will be able to see the difference visibly also. Like you could see only he's having the access of Jira. So he'll whatever is being used for here. Let me go and edit this. So here he'll be having an option to change this to do to in progress or to do to done, and he can comment it. The sensor is checked and the issue is resolved. He'll be able to do it and click on apply button. So what happens is this gets changed here, and you can just see this is done. And parallelly, when we are having the alerts are coming in, the tickets are also getting generated here. The same thing is getting configured in the Jira also. So now there could be a question like, what is the why we need this kind of integration when Jira is there. Jira, you will be able to do this. But the point here is not about like we are able to integrate with only Jira. It's about we are able to write back to any kind of system externally using our combination of dashboards and pipeline. It's not something like Jira. We are not limited to Jira. It can be anything. It can be an approval mechanism, or if you wanted to have a hyper automation to be implemented using this dashboards plus pipeline, you'll be able to do this hyper automation of the platform. So that's what the intent behind this. Hope this helps to understand like how we are able to take the data from dashboards to the whatever the backend systems we are able to get it. So next, I'll take a moment here. Next we can let me go to the slide back. So this is the unit engineer is what is possible for him and manage the dashboards. Let me go take a point here as a data as an API. This is again a new feature which has been released in the 7.0. So what does this do? Like how does it's going to help my business? So here the use case is always like, okay, so whatever limited inside the BDB, yeah, I'm able to communicate to the BDB dashboards. I'm able to communicate to the self-service inside the BDB, but how I'm able to communicate or send this data outside the BDB platform? So for example, the enterprise customer is having his own UI or own applications. How he is going to take the data? He might be struggling with only doing this processing the data and how he wanted to connect to the data. So for example, if you wanted to connect to any external dashboarding tool, for example, Tableau or Power BI or their own UI itself, if they have some values which has to be shown, so how they will be connecting it. So we are providing an option here as a data as an API, which is already there, which is inside the platform. Let me go and show how you can do this. So this is, okay, let me log in as the admin. So right now it is in I have logged in as admin. So admin will be able to see all the things. Let me go to the data center from here. So here is the data sets. From data sets, you'll be able to publish as data service. So here you can just see there's a new button has been introduced and you can just click on it. This gives an option like you can create a sensor name, what is the service name you wanted to give, and you can just give what kind of description and limit any kind of record limitations you wanted to do. You can do it and you can save this. Once you're saving it, this is being created as a data as an API. But how you will be exposing this to outside world from the BDB platform? So we do have an option in our admin module. So let me go to the admin module, how it can be configured. Once we are in an admin module, we'll be having this API configuration, API client registration. What is this? Like we are trying to register the client. So here you could see two options we have provided. One is for internal, other one is for external. Internal configuration is nothing but like we will be, as a BDB platform, will be doing this configuration and we will be providing this client ID and secrets for connecting to this API, connecting to this data as an API. But in case if our customer is having an external API management system, for example, if it is a Kong layers or any API layers is being integrated already, on that scenario, we'll be using this external. So the authentication will be happening on their side. Only the authorization will be happening inside the BDB platform. So here these options are there. Let me go and edit here, and this is the data as an API what I have created for this demo. Let me edit this client details. Here you could see this is the client ID, this is the client secret, and these two things I have created as a data as an API. And you can just see how much time you can, how much time the request can be given, how many times the request is, can be given for in a day, and all this information will be available. So let me go to this doc link. It's nothing but the Swagger documentation which is available for the end user to understand, and we can send this across through mail, and we support in the current version of data as an API, we support get and post calls also. So let me go to this, like how this can be accessed. I'm having a small Postman collection for this to showcase to you. So let me go to this data as an API. So this is the, sorry for this. Yeah, there's a sensor data as 10 minutes. What happens is this is a data as an API, what I have created to get the last 10 minutes data. So I'm sending this information. I can configure the headers, what is the app name, and client ID and secret. So this comes to me. So how it can be used? Yeah, this, what are the APIs been called, and the results can be used anywhere outside the platform. And if you wanted to have any, there might be a case that you wanted to use a filter to it. Yeah, based on the sensor also we'll be able to do it. So here's a query parameter we have given. It can be even query parameter or path parameter, or if you wanted to put it in params also, you'll be able to do it. And send, I'm clicking on the send. So here you'll be getting the output. Here you'll be able to get the output from this particular sensor for the access. So this comprises like how we are able to get the data and how process the data, how we are able to disseminate the data. We are disseminating through dashboards. We are able to connect. We are able to write back from the dashboards. And if any external applications are there, we are able to connect to the external applications using our data as an API. So this gives the whole holistic view of how the platform, the 7.0, helps you to connect to DS lab, like data scientists, if they wanted to productionize a component, how easily they can productionize based on a click away. So all these things I have covered here. So let me go to the next interesting feature, which is data catalog. So what is data catalog? So how it is going to be useful? What's there in BDB? How it is going to be useful for the users? So it's something like we do processing the data, like from the pipeline till the dashboards. We do processing the data. We connect to multiple databases, and we create multiple data sets, and we are connecting those data sets with the dashboards. How it has been mapped, and what are the available data sets for the end user? What kind of new analysis can be built on top of it? So we'll using this data catalog model, what we have introduced in the 7.0, we will be able to understand that. So let me go to the platform again. So here you can have this data catalog option. So here you could see what are the attributes available for you. This components, data connectors, data sets, or data set as an API. This is nothing but data as an API. What database, events, pipelines, whatever belongs to this particular implementation, it comes here. So as this is completely based on sensor, let me check for sensor what is available for me. So I'm just searched for sensor. Here I could see many things. Like here you can just see the data connector, Mogo sensor data connector. Here I could see tables. Here I could see attributes. So let me go to this. What's there? So okay, what's there in this Mogo sensor? So actually this is a data connector. We are giving the asset type as data connector, and the connector type is actually, what is the type of the connector is Mongo. And data steward has been already verified this, and he given this, okay, this is fine, and we'll be able to use it for the creation of the data sets on top of it. Here under this, whatever the data sets being created, we are listing it here. And here you could see the status of it. So some of the things is published, which is yet to be verified by the steward, and some of the things are work in progress. The team is working on it. So these informations will be able to get. And the second option which is there in the data catalog is lineage. So lineage is going to help us, like how the connector connects to what kind of data sets, what kind of data sets is being used for dashboards or data as an API, how you're able to find the lineage of it. So I just clicked on this Mongo sensor here. So here you could see these are the data sets created for this. So let me click on this sensor RAD 10 minutes. So this is the data set I have used to create the data as an API. So here, this sensor which is there here you'll be able to see what are the columns available for under this data set, and what is the sensor as an API is the data as an sensor API. Oh, sorry, the name of the data set is sensor API, which I have used for data as an API here. So using this data sets, I have created this data sensor as an API, and this data sets has the data as an API. So I click on it. What are the columns available for me in it? So here I could see this. Okay, plant, all those informations are available. From this, if I wanted to add anything to this, yes, you'll be able to add. This helps. Okay, so these are the informations I am having. These are the data sets I am having. For example, this data set is there. From this, if I wanted to create a data as an API, yes, you'll be able to create it. So this gives the understanding to the analyst or data scientist to know what kind of data sets are available for them, how they can utilize it for their next analysis of it. So here we are providing network diagrams also, like right now, this is the Mongo data connector, and it is connecting to the particular database which we have used for this use case. So let me go to this PPT. So this covers whatever the 7.0. So let me hand it over to Avin.
Thank you, Mani. I think we can just go for questions and then start answering. I think Anup has already answered some of them. Let me just see. Okay, ticket management. There is a threshold master. So I think whatever Anup you can say, yeah. You can say, Anup, if you want to answer anything. So basically on Gauri, on DS Lab, we are planning for a very detailed type of a session, because here we have just done basic teaser kind of a thing into the end-to-end workflow. And now, since this is a new feature and it's an important one, we're going for an end-to-end 1 hour webinar specifically on this, maybe around 15th of April. So I will communicate on that. Yeah, so maybe Gauri, at your environment, we need to check whether your environment is perfect or not. So those things, our DevOps team will be able to see it. And yes, Anup has already answered in terms of how the configuration and all that has to be happening on this. So Rajat, can we still have some time? So, and it's a good enough time. So we can let people unmute and ask question if they want to.
Yes.
Thanks, Rajat. So I think now you can unmute and ask questions if you want to.
Hey, Shailendra here.
Yeah, hi, Shailen.
So just wanted to understand about the standardization on the data model, if anything has been done from an maybe from the source perspective, maybe from a column, anything on the source or anything on the target when we are saying analytics zone or raw zone, right? So any standardization has been done, or it's a kind of, if you have to build this at any other place, it would be from the scratch, or there would be some, or it can be done with few customizations.
So on certain industry verticals, yes, we have done standardization, but it is up to the implementation team. If they have a certain standard, they can follow those. So ideally, what we suggest is you take your data, put it in the row zone, transform and cleanse and store it in the trusted zone, and from there you can do the reporting. In some of the instances where team has built an analytics zone on top of trusted zone as well.
Okay, got it.
Thanks, Shailendra. We have, so I think, yeah, when we have done the implementation, we found it, this method working perfectly. Okay, so if do we have any more questions, or if?
Yeah, I have a question. This is Kumar here. This data catalog is a good feature, but does it work only on the BDB platform or can it go across?
Very good question, Kumar. So I can answer and then Anup can fulfill it. See, we thought of, as we are looking at into the industry. So classically, if you see from year 2000, when we started going over the web, so people used to start writing, individual products and tools which would got acquired, and then, a larger integrated platform was concepted, but the objects never used to talk, internally. What we have done is we have started writing all those type of features internally, so that when you do an end-to-end implementation, it becomes faster. So at present, we do not have any plan to give data catalog as an out-of-the-box type of a solution.
So Kumar, basically what Catalog does is, because when you build everything on BDB platform, we collect a lot of metadata information about the underlying data sources, the sources from where you are ingesting, all those things. So we build data catalog based on those metadata information. We crawl through the databases, aggregate all those information, curate it, and keep it. Ideally, we have not planned to extend it as a standalone application, because then you need to basically crawl to the third-party system, and you may not be able to provide the end-to-end information. The rest of the information need to be keyed in manually. So most of the data catalog fails at that point, because you cannot bring every information into the catalog and build a knowledge graph from that.
I'm sure you know that Azure has Azure Data Purview, which at least theoretically they claim that they can go across the boundaries of the organization and lay the map of every data element.
Right. See, in case you have built everything on Azure, if you have used a third-party ETL tool, I'm not sure how do you bring the metadata out, unless otherwise they have followed some open standards.
Yeah, generally implementing these type of software tools will have a lot of precondition, post-conditions.
I mean, that's to do with any software, frankly speaking.
Yeah. So we will, we can have more detailed session on data catalog as well. And just to answer Manish's question, so this is a sample oil and gas use case which we have done, because see, the customer data and all those are very extremely sensitive. So here all the data has been created by us through our programs, and then created the end-to-end workflow, and then gave you the sense of how the platform can be used to do end-to-end use case. So webinars are going to be like that only. So it will have some limitations.
So what is the volume of data that has been used here, just to get from a scalability perspective?
So this is just very simple one. So it's like 2.5 lakh type of IoT devices. So which is much less than the standard use cases. But we have done it for connected cars and telecom with around petabyte level of data.
Got it. And this data, I think that there is no issue in terms of demonstrating this from a data confidentiality perspective, as I understand from you that it has been generated by your team, right?
Yes, there's no issues in this. This is completely 100% sanitized data.
Okay.
Hi, Imran here. I just wanted to check up and Avin also. Just wanted to check up from a data catalog point of view. Is this being positioned to cover the challenges that today the enterprises face on data governance?
So Imran, currently we have not taken care of the data governance. So when you attach data governance into Catalog, then you have an option to request access So right now you can see who all have access to what kind of data, but the requesting of access and other governance perspective, we have not built in yet. Yes, there is a plan to bring that in the roadmap.
Yeah. Anu, can we answer Ganesh question?
So Ganesh, platform has a lot of inbuilt adapters which can read data from different sources. The pipeline, basically, they are there as the out of the box component, and we have currently given options where you can actually have a Python scripting component using which you can connect to any source which is not provided out of the box. We are coming up with Node.js and Scala support also on the scripting side. There is also option where you can yourself build a custom component and push it to the platform so that you can use it as an out of the box component. So those component remains in your repository only.
Thank you. Ganesh, if you are able to unmute, I think you can try again. And if there is any further question, we can answer that.
Yeah, this is Ambika from L&T. I saw a bit there called anomaly detection. I mean, what could you just elaborate a little on that piece, please?
Yeah. So our data scientist Veda will be talking about it, but it is just to show you how this whole model thing works. So what we have done in this, it's a standard basic anomaly detection thing.
Detecting anomaly of what?
Okay.
So basically it detects the anomaly of the sensor data.
Specific sensor data, individual sensor data, is it?
Individual sensor data.
Yeah.
So there are 75 sensor devices available, and we in all sensor devices are giving a temperature values. So what we have done, we have cross-checked with the various methods of algorithms. So we found a certain threshold value. Once if it reaches more than that threshold value, we have treated as anomaly value. So we have classified into two classes. One is with nominal data, another one is anomaly data. So with this, I mean, when we classified into two categories, we are easily finding the anomaly with basic supervised learning algorithms like logistic regression we have used, and random forest algorithms we have used. We found, I mean, good accuracy over there. So we used this random forest model as a finalized model. So that model, we have used it for publishing pipeline.
Okay, the data scientist will be allowed to customize over this. Suppose I want to define the anomaly based on the output of a certain number of sensors.
Yes.
Selected sensors.
Yeah. So in DS Lab, we are providing all features, like whatever you are working with any other notebook environment, the same environment we are providing it here. Along with we are also providing some quick access thing. All these DS Lab, right? We are we are planning to give a dedicated session for that actually. So there we'll explain more details on DS Lab. So we'll be informing that details to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Veda. Thanks, Ambika.
Okay, thank you, everybody, and Gauri Prasad. Thank you so much for arranging this webinar. First question, the data pipeline, what we saw, right? Is it a dummy pipeline or is it having code? Can we execute it? First question, is it having any code and can we execute it?
Yeah, it is a live pipeline, Gauri, I think.
Okay, so you will be exposing that to the everybody, right? I mean, even I should be able to access post this meeting, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
we can share it, share the details with you. You can access the pipeline. So if I show you, you can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
If I show you in preview here, you can see the records are increasing now.
Fantastic. Okay, so if you can share this, right? I mean, in the then maybe we will go through and then run and then see. This is good. Yeah.
Yeah, Gauri, we will push the entire package to you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Yeah. So on the DS workbench, I think you already answered. Maybe if you can connect post this meeting once, that will be helpful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Hi, this is Manjunath here. Can you just let me know what is the backend is used here in this case?
In which case, so if you are looking at the platform as a whole, or in case of DS Labs?
Only the data storage part I'm talking.
So data storage is not part of platform. You can connect to any storage, whether it is Azure, Blob Store, AWS, S3, Mongo, any NoSQL database, or RDBMS. So we are not tied to any data source.
Okay. So the system can connect to the any database, right? That's
Yes.
what you mean.
Yes.
Okay. When you are talking about the earlier API that you can connect to any system, external applications, right? Is it just to pull the data, or it can push the data?
So if the API supports, like in case of Jira, what you have seen in the demo, Jira allows you to push the data to Jira as well. So if your API supports post messages which can write back to the external system, yes, you can do that.
Okay. How frequently it pushes the data, depending on the what is the frequency it pushes the data?
Yes. So we have even tested on using an API push mechanism, 100 requests per second, and it can grow up any level because it has an auto scaling. There was one question regarding auto scaling. Yes, it support auto scaling. You can enable auto scaling.
Okay. Auto scaling, is it vertical or horizontal?
Both. So basically, the system runs on a Kubernetes orchestration mechanism. So it can horizontally as well as vertically auto scale.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Manjunath.
Hey, Avin, this Shalan. So any ROI calculation your team has done on this?
Yeah, challenge. The ROI calculation is there, but we will have to talk about use cases itself. I can tell you the one of the largest one that we have done, and we have compared that with one of the best platforms that we are talking about. Maybe because I used my best team to do that, but we implemented at 3x rate at 1/3 of the cost. But I don't know whether I can match 9x all the time. But yes, in this case, we have done it.
Okay. And in terms of any business ROI,
it's business ROI only, because whatever dollars customer spent, they were getting an output of 3x because it's a data monetization exercise, correct? Plus, at the same time, in terms of using less servers, a supported team from India, lower licensing cost, and all that saved, tens of millions separately.
Okay.
Okay, I think if there are no more questions, okay, I think there's just one message on the chat. Let me just see that. Yes. This can get the data from OSI Pi and SCADA and MQTT and other things. So few are already there, and then as you keep on writing or expose or write the connectors, you will be able to push every type of data inside this. And data doesn't mean that only this type: video, image, and in future, I think voice as well. So Anup may also want to add some things.
One of the things which we have done on the OSI Pi only. So the actual use case which you are seeing right now is implemented in an oil and gas plant where they had an OSI Pi system running behind. And the team was actually using an Excel interface from OSI Pi to generate the report twice a day.
Thanks, Anu. Thanks, Ankur.
This is my one last question I have. When you are setting the threshold, right? Can I set the higher and lower threshold, or it's a standard threshold I have to set it?
So basically, there are two types of thresholds, which is set a higher lower threshold, and there is 2 levels as well. So in higher threshold and lower threshold also, we have 2 separate values which has separate time intervals as well. So let's say one of the threshold is a basic threshold which has a higher and lower value, and if it is retained for X number of minutes, we generate an alert. That goes to the plant engineer and the supervisor of whatever the address configure. The second level is a company-wide threshold, which is much higher level. And if it retains for the given number of minutes or seconds, then a company-wide alert is generated.
Yeah.
Unless otherwise the machine is marked as maintenance mode.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think we're almost done. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining this. We will be doing another round of webinar session for the US teams of our partners tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. IST. And after that, this webinar will be available. Thank you.
Thanks, Avin. Thanks, Mani. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, guys.